Thank you so much, incredible people.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell.
He fought to keep our country safe, and now we have to pray.
The Zimmer News Team.
U.S. is hearing us, U.S. is supporting us, U.S. is walking beside us.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021.
Wow. 5 years later, 5.5 years later, almost 6 years later, we get some news out of the DOJ. Due diligence done and done well. That is the way we open this Feel Good Friday on Wake Up Missouri. They have arrested a suspect in the J6 pipe bombing. I'm Randy Tobler. Peter Thiel in for Stephanie Bell. John Marsh alongside, as always, and Drake Whitman. We are Wake Up Missouri. Glad you're here. Hey, if you want to weigh in with your feel-good thoughts of the day or of the topics, or just weigh in, call us at 800-529-5572 or text 573-874-9390. And Peter, John, interesting aspect of this is they kept emphasizing in this press conference, we didn't do any new investigation or any new fact-finding.
Correct.
We didn't follow any new leads. There were no new hot tips. We took and dusted the dust off of the bins of the hundreds of thousands of different pieces of information, put them together. And isn't that interesting? When there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, here's another little good thing about it. And
Wow.
I think, talk about a Feel Good Friday thing, is that when bond is issued for Mr. Cole by the judge, he knows a bail bondsman. His family, they're in the bail bonds business.
And I think he worked in the business.
Yes. So he knows a good bail bondsman. And I think that's a win.
30-year-old guy. Looked like a fairly influential little cul-de-sac with a fairly nice home.
Yeah, this was a multi-million-dollar house
In close to D.C.
Yeah.
And
neighbors all said he was the last guy you'd ever thought would do this.
He was quiet, kept to himself.
And his Chihuahua. You always have to be wary of people with Chihuahuas. I'm just saying.
Men.
Men with Chihuahuas.
Women, that's a whole different deal.
But it does make me feel good, but it also, in another way, gives me pause for thought about this. They were so worried about the various spokes in the hub, from the hub of Trump derangement syndrome, weaponizing the DOJ, get Trump, get Trump, get Trump. How many other crimes against maybe less prominent, maybe against someone someone in, rural Virginia, rural Missouri, rural Illinois, that had a crime that they were distracted because they were weaponizing all points bulletin against Donald Trump. That's what is uncovered, what is undetected yet.
Well, again, I think the real thing here is that when people are putting out pipe bombs, that's a pretty serious deal. It's now there's always selective prosecutions. There are always certain crimes that people don't pay attention to, mainly because there's only so much time in the day. Mm-hmm. It's like your work day, Randy, my work day. There are days I get, and it's 4:00, and there's stuff I need to do, but I can't accomplish it because I've run out of day and I've run out of time, and there are other priorities. At least for me, and Randy and John, you may totally disagree. I know producer Drake does. For me, pipe bombs are a priority.
Yeah?
It's just, I think that's a good thing.
I asked you why you couldn't get the computer working in the studio, and you said, please, I have my priorities. I'm building a pipe bomb. Leave me alone.
Yeah, well, yesterday I got a note saying, our feed with John wasn't working. I said, reboot it.
Yeah.
And
fairness now. I said, I'll reboot it. And afterward, you said, yes, you knucklehead. Don't you always do that first when things aren't working? And I'm like, I thought it was an engineering problem.
You have to be really careful, though, rebooting pipe bombs.
It was the...
Yeah, it generally is iPads. iPads good for rebooting. Pipe bombs, not so much.
I miss back in the day. I say I miss like I was alive back then. the Unabomber really set the standard so high. He made all these crafted boxes that look so pretty. Now people are just putting fertilizer in these like PVC pipes and calling it a day.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
where's the work ethic?
It was interesting, though. They put together the cell phone pings, the tower ping.
Yes.
From that area, from the
and
RNC.
license plate.
Yeah, and then there was also, they had to piece together, like, people buying, who was buying galvanized pipe, who was buying end caps for said pipe, who was buying red and black wire, not blue and yellow, whatever the colors were, who was buying white kitchen timers. I mean, they had to somehow talk about an AI wonderland, right? This was AI Fantasia. I want to know if they used AI to put this together.
I have a buddy of mine who is in semi-retirement.
Yeah.
And he works for one of the big box hardware stores. Mm-hmm. And I was asking him about shoplifting. What's going on? And he goes, yeah, no John Wayne stuff. If somebody walks out, they go out and come up with the total. Mm-hmm. And whenever the same person, because in every one of these parking lots of these big box stores, they have a license plate reader. They're following you.
I didn't know that.
Yes. He said once they go and they hit that number, that's when they go and round up the person. Well, then when it becomes a felony.
I'm going to probably have an accident driving through the parking lot the next time I go to the big box store because I'll be looking for the said device.
If you see a man just roaming around a parking lot of the big box store like Mr. Magoo, just realize it's probably Tobler.
Doing my Stevie Wonder imitation. So,
am I wrong?
Is this like in a stationary cabinet or affixed to a post or where?
I don't know. I don't know the technology.
Come on, this is urban. I want you to prove this is urban legend. Peter Thiel with Urban Legend on Wake Up, Missouri.
No, it's call us 800-529-5572. Drake can answer the question. Drake, what am I?
What are you?
Yes, on this.
Is he accurate on this?
Yeah, he's right.
The flock cameras, that was one of their very, very first operations that flock cameras went to, not so much for traffic enforcement for cops, but, to catch shoplifters and thieves and all in the big box stores.
But don't they have
that's how
those,
flock got started.
Don't they have the camera in the bubble on the ceiling at the checkout?
Yes, they do.
At the self-checkout.
You go into any big box, even smaller stores, you start looking around for the cameras. I mean, I was at Wally World not that long ago, and I counted 30 cameras, just standing in line to pay.
Wow.
So they're all over the place. They're coming they know exactly what's going on. And if you pay with debit card, well, quite frankly, they probably do facial recognition now.
Yeah.
They probably know when you walk in the store what you're buying.
Well, they certainly do, I know, align the stores because they know shoppers' behavior in general, right? They know that.
Well, that's
a separate issue, but I mean, you think that they already ahead of the game know sort of what you're about because of your past behavior?
Yes.
I don't know. That's giving them a lot of credit.
No, it is. I guarantee you they know exactly. It is now data-based. They have it all figured out now with artificial intelligence. And by the way, in Colombia.
Where's the tinfoil department here, Drake? Can you get the little Reynolds out here? I got to make a hat for Peter.
Yeah, Peter's right. I mean, the thing is that with Target, what they do is they allow you to steal like up to the felony amount, and then they get you.
That's correct.
And associates have been fired for being more aggressive with shoplifter. You hear stories about that.
Yeah. My buddy, they had training.
Living hands off.
This guy's in his early 70s. I used to work with him.
Yeah.
He said, "Yep, they don't want me. They don't want to stop at anything. They don't want us to play hero guy."
Yeah.
And
that's what's wrong with modern society. The people in plumbing and lumber ought to be able to take that guy to the woodshed, if you know what I mean, and he wouldn't be shoplifting anymore. I'm telling you, that's what's wrong. No accountability, which reminds me of my story when I went down to see my 91-year-old mom in Washington
but she wasn't stealing
we
stuff,
had a lunch.
was she?
No. But I told Helene all the way down, I'm driving 70, And I mean, I'm going 57 miles an hour, 56, 57. Okay,
in an 85.
In that 55.
Yeah,
in
on
that
the left
55,
lane.
Just barely looking over there.
Were you in the
Don't
left
worry, I'll
lane?
get there sooner or later. But
Were you in the left lane?
no, I was in the right lane.
Okay,
Peter.
thank you, the good Lord
And
Jesus.
people are. It's a 55. Remember, we had the trooper on from the education department. What's Eric? Forget his name. And he said, "No, people." I said, "Shouldn't we be going the traffic flow? The traffic flow." No, if it says 55 in a work zone, you go 55. So that's what I did because that's what Mr. Patrolman said. But they're passing me up like I'm standing still.
Yeah.
And I remember Mr. Patrolman, Highway Patrol said, you should call the Highway Patrol. You're not supposed to use your cell phone. So how can you call and report that people are speeding like loons?
They know they're speeding.
But it's wrong.
Okay. So essentially...
I'm obeying the speed limit, Peter.
So essentially, Randy Tobler in a work zone, everyone's driving 85. Randy's that guy doing 52.
57.
And how many times did you get saluted?
I was afraid that the road rage people were going to drive by and smoke me.
Yeah, were you oblivious to being?
No, I'm conscious of it.
Does your wife notice if you get flipped off, or
I'm conscious of this, but I mean, no. But have we devolved into a society where we pretty much overlook everything, and it's like better to ask forgiveness than permission? And where should that threshold be? We really do need to. We do need to check ourselves.
No fun to be on the interstate. You're doing 57, and that line of semis right behind you wants to do 90. That could get. Scary.
Flashing their lights and going crazy, and I'm like, but Mr. Highway Patrolman, I was brought up to respect authority, and so I will never ever talk again. I promise you, I will never ever talk again about gut microbiome on this program. Never again, Peter, because you're our boss, and you tell me not to talk about gut microbiome. We won't talk about how important that is for you.
Let me tell you, Randy, is that if we're on a trip together to St. Louis or Kansas City, I'm driving. You're going to drive me. You're going to drive me to anxiety through your bed driving.
But I'll be able to use my cell phone and report you. All right, we're having fun already on a Feel Good Friday, and we're going to be talking with Jessica Rosenthal from Fox News later, as well as Heather Overstreet. So stay tuned with us all day, and don't forget Winners and Losers at 8:35. Stay tuned for more DC Rundown coming up.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction.
It's time for the Daily DC Rundown. Here's John Marsh.
Yep, a Northern Virginia man arrested and accused of placing 2 pipe bombs outside the Democratic National Committee and RNC headquarters on the eve of the Capitol protests in 2021. Brian Cole Jr., 30 years old, from the upscale Woodbridge, Virginia neighborhood. Pam Bondi said more charges could be pending.
Nice.
Meanwhile, showing lawmakers a video of the second strike on the Venezuelan drug boat behind closed doors, testified there was no order from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to kill everyone on board. General Dan Raisin Kane and Navy Admiral Mitch Bradley briefed the leaders of the House Armed Services and Intelligence Committees and their Senate counterparts. Supreme Court on Thursday restored Texas's newly redrawn congressional map. Could give the Republicans their 5 additional House seats after the lower court found some of the new voting lines were racially discriminatory. And back to Harvard, the Department of Homeland Security says ICE has detained that Harvard Law School professor accused of the shots fired incident outside the Boston synagogue in October. Carlos Gavea allegedly fired a pellet gun outside the synagogue the day before Yom Kippur and told authorities at the time he was, quote, hunting rats.
Right, a Harvard professor toting a gun, hunting rats outside the synagogue.
And the implication was two-legged rats.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Shoot him with a pellet gun.
Yeah. Well, there's the Daily DC Rundown. That's John Marsh. Now, John.
Sir.
You'll notice that I played that sound. It was very interesting. It really, apparently, this shooter was let's just listen to it again. Hang on. Here we go. We'll listen to it again. Because you got to listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Listen carefully.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce.
Now, apparently, Peter, in for Stephanie Bell, apparently Brian Cole Jr. was wearing blackface in his mugshot
yes,
here.
Yeah,
that's all. That's
not a mugshot. That's a picture his mom took up.
That's right. His mom took. That's right. Social media shot.
He's a gentleman of color.
Well, but yeah, but Jake Tapper said he was a white man.
My guess is Jake.
Producers got it wrong. And he was reading.
He was reading, and here's the other thing: is that the really good TV people rewrite everything, and I have a feeling he doesn't.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're right.
It's the real good TV people get all the news stories and they rewrite it. If you're in a TV newsroom and the anchor people are just sort of hanging out, drinking coffee, talking about what they're doing on the weekend, and they're not, reworking the news stories, you're going to get junk like that all day long.
Yeah, but man, you'd think Jake Tapper on CNN.
Yeah, he's only making probably about $5 million a year. You think he'd, suck it up for 1 hour and actually do some show prep? But here we are.
You know what we don't know about this guy is
read your copy, if nothing else.
Yeah, right. At least review it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting what we don't know about this guy, right? We don't know about his political leanings. We don't know about his ideology.
Some of that's already begun to come out. He's a lefty.
Okay.
Yep.
I heard early on he was an anarchist, but that could be left or right. Or could be like no government. You don't know. All right, when we come back, I'm going to tell you about my story in the MRI the other day. You'll get a kick out of it in 5 at 6:35. Stay tuned. to Wake Up Missouri. Stephanie out today. Peter Thiel in for Steph. John Marsh and Drake Whitman along, of course. And I'm Randy Tobler. Thanks for being here. Feel Good Friday. I hope you made it through the frigid last night. More frigid in north central parts of our listening area than the south areas. We may have had some. I didn't see much in the way of flurries in Springfield area. John, Peter, did you? I didn't see much reported. Tony Lupo said there might be some yesterday. But hopefully no one's having any problems with their automobiles. Boy, if you got a battery that's on its last legs, this is like a stress test for your battery. This will tell you you need a new auto battery.
Last couple of days, I bought a car this year, and I started it via the app on my phone.
Oh, yes.
And let it run for a few minutes before I got in there. It's nice. Oh, yeah.
Thought you could tell us it drove off without you and ran over the neighbor's cat.
I got out.
I have not killed the neighbor's cat. It's something to put my hat on. I'm pretty good about that.
I got my hand and arm bruised because that crank on that darn old truck of mine that cranked it.
They do that, don't they?
Yeah, it's sort of you know how the crank, once the engine starts, it backfires on you.
You Ford Model T pickup
I'm telling
guys.
you, yeah, that old Model T of mine. So I have to tell you, those of you who have maybe listened to me over the last few years maybe know, back in the mid-'90s, I had a little health issue. I was getting into some problems with broken bones, and I had what amounts to osteoporosis, and I ended up having sort of an unusual endocrine condition called Cushing's disease, where that little pea-sized organ in your brain, right in the center of your brain, behind your eye, produces too much of a hormone that tells your adrenal gland to put too much cortisol off, and that weakens your bones and gives you blood pressure and everything. Well, in the workup, I had to have a MRI of my head and showed a little problem there. I had to end up having my head cracked and later on half my pituitary taken out. 97 was an interesting year. But along the workup, Peter, they did a bunch of workup to make sure that what was in my skull bone on my head, right in the frontal bone here, skull bone, I lost half my practice because word got around town I had a brain tumor. I didn't. And people thought that would impair my ability to take care of people. I didn't, but it was an interesting time. Everything was benign. But during the workup, we found a little thing on my liver that's like a blood pocket. It's a fairly common thing. People have them a lot. They're called hemangiomas. So when your baby has a little pink or red birthmark, we've seen those on kids. That's a hemangioma. They're just little blood things.
So you have instead of like the age spot on your skull, you've got age spots on your liver.
Well, so I had this thing, but mine was a good sized one. It was like orange size. It was interesting.
Nice.
And my friend, the radiologist, says, Randy, you're the leader in the clubhouse on that one. I'm saying, that's good to know. So I hadn't looked at it for a long time. Recently, I came in to have a new doctor. A doctor says, well, we better take a look at that. So had to get an MRI. So I want to give a shout out to the good people at Advanced Radiology here in town.
Now, when you get an MRI, do you need like a sedative?
I don't need a sedative. No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm fine. But they ask you, are you claustrophobic and so forth. That's a backstory, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about the abuse that your fair host here takes. They told you not to wear a jeans with a zipper or anything because, it's metal and to wear.
So Randy came into the office in a tracksuit like a member of organized crime.
Wait a minute. Okay. And I'll take at least. So on Wednesday morning, I have on my Nike sweatpants. I'm thinking that's pretty cool. I got Nike on. I had a sweater on, and it was a loose-fitting sweater with a T-shirt on and didn't have it tucked in. I walk out during the first or second break. I walk into the control room, and Drake says, Randy, you sort of look like one of the guys wandering around the nursing home. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Just because I got casual clothing on?
And of course I said, where's the FBI?
Yeah.
You look like a member of La Cosa Nostra.
But it gets better. I want to give
look like Kanye.
So Heidi, who listens to the program, and Leah, the technologist there, did a great job, got me into the machine, and they said, what kind of music you want?
Music.
I said Nicki Minaj. No, I didn't. I said
you said Bad Bunny.
Yeah, right.
And
I
Randy
didn't.
loves himself Bad Bunny and Kendrick Lamar.
So I said, what's your playlist? Can you play Sinatra? They said, who? I said, no, Sinatra. I like Sinatra. They said, okay, we can dial up Sinatra. So you're in the machine, and if you've had an MRI, ladies and gentlemen, it's going, it's a lot of noise going on, and you got the headphones on. Now, because I've had this, and because I'm a doc, and because I know when you get tests on people, sometimes you find things that you didn't expect finding, and sometimes it can be worrisome.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little bit over 39. So as you get older and you're a doc, you begin to worry about what's going to be there. And I'm thinking, man,
Are you a bad patient as a doctor?
no, I'm a very good patient.
Are
No.
you sure? If we got your doctor
I
in
think
here
if you asked
and wrote him off and said, I don't care about HIPAA.
If Heidi is listening, or Dr. Ashride, who looked at my films with me, if you're listening, Dr. Ashride did a great job. He took time out of his workflow and looked at the films with me afterwards. But you're worried about what you're going to find, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, is this going to be okay? Are they going to find a problem here? My lymph nodes, whatever. I'm really freaking out at this. Not freaking out, but I'm nervous. I'm worried about it, right?
Yes.
But outwardly, everything was cool. So they slide me in the machine. She gives me the instructions. You have to breathe, hold your breath. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn on the music. Remember, Randy's a little nervous. Has my little blood pocket grown? Are they going to find something else? Here was the first that I heard coming out of my headphones at the beginning of my MRI.
And now the end is near.
Yeah.
And so I face
I kid you not, as God is my witness.
And that's why you always ask for Bad Bunny. And
say it clear.
you're going to be the biggest Bad Bunny fan here, Randy, by the end of the Super Bowl this year. You're going to be all about the Bad Bunny feller.
I was joking with him. I pushed, they give you the panic button if you're panicking. And by that time, I'd already told a few stand-up jokes, and they knew I was having fun with them. And I did. They said, everything okay? I pushed the button. I said, is everything okay? I said, yeah, but do you have to play that song at the beginning of this MRI? I'm not kidding you, Peter. As God is my witness. It couldn't be Come Fly With Me. It couldn't be I've Got You Under My Skin. It couldn't be The Way You Look Tonight. It has to be My Way. And now the end is near.
Yeah, it's called the punk rock. You need punk rock and make you upbeat. Good times.
But everything was fine. I mean, yeah, my pocket.
Congratulations.
My little pocket has grown, and it reminds me of that every day. But it's there, and no whatever. I've fallen off the horse. It hasn't broken. I've fallen off the tree strands. I'm aware
why
of it.
didn't they use I've got you under my skin? Something like that for the doc,
It would have been great. I was just thankful that nothing sinister was found. It's a good day when I don't see anything turns out that way. All right, so everything's cool.
So how now you go in for that?
Yes, sir.
How many times does something sinister go through your brain about getting an MRI?
Pretty constantly.
Yeah, I would think so.
And that's the way I feel about my patients, too. When I get something, it's like I always am worried about what else is going to be found. Because these days, with the accuracy and the precision of testing, you find little, and this is a hazard, folks. If you often are now getting your results before your doctor gets back to you, and it creates a lot of anxiety. That's a federal rule that you have to, within, 48 hours, 72 hours, you have to get the results of your test. Well, that's not always a good thing, because I had findings on my MRI that are absolutely clinically insignificant. They mean nothing. But that's because I know they mean nothing. Right?
Yes.
But if you saw that, you'd go, my God, you'd call me at 2 a.m. if you saw what was seen on my MRI. And I know it's nothing, because I know it's been there 30 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's now 2 centimeters bigger. Big deal. Whatever. In 30 years. Doesn't matter, right? But patients get that, and they freak out, right?
Well, we all know people, and I have a buddy of mine who's a hypochondriac, who had a child who was sick, who went doctor shopping for the illness of his daughter.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And after seeing 12 doctors, they finally got someone to give the diagnosis. This guy with a year of college because he read WebMD.
Yeah.
And then about 6 months later, the daughter started getting worse. And then they found out it was something totally different.
Yeah.
And I busted that guy's chops, just saying, dude, just stop it. Stop it.
We're going to be having an AI town hall next Wednesday at the world headquarters of Zimmer Communications. And For you 93.9 The Eagle listeners, you can tune into it.
You can come on
we'd
in.
love to have you come in person and ask questions because we're going to have Peter, Cindy O'Loughlin, Senator, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, who has a lot to do about, the data centers and AI and energy demands and legislation about, impersonating someone. All that's going to be on the table.
I'm more interested in obviously abusing children, and I'm interested in my privacy.
Yep.
And AI ain't going anywhere.
Right.
It is here to stay, and it's actually going on to the next generation of stuff.
Right.
In the next couple of years.
And we're also going to have the AI czar from Missouri, right? Basically.
Yeah.
That's not his official title, but
It should be.
It should be, yeah. So they will be here, and we'll be taking your questions by note card. And so we want you to show up here. Doors will open at 5:30.
Wednesday night, 5:30, be here. That's at night.
Okay.
So,
yep.
And I'm going to bring cookies. I'm going to get a big thing of a couple of big things of cookies.
Yeah.
First come, first serve.
From the dispensary?
You know what? Just for you, Randy, I'm going to go to that dispensary and get a bunch of cookies just for you.
Boy, that'll be an interesting moderation, won't it? We'll have a lot of fun that night.
You'll be wanting to drink a lot of water.
No, so I think it'll be really informative because there are so many different ways that you can look at the AI thing, right? The opportunities, the threats, and not only from the AI itself, but what does it mean culturally, economically, regulatory-wise? I mean, there's just a lot going on there. So there won't be enough time for an hour, but that's what we have.
Yes.
So,
no, I think it's something that has to be discussed. And quite frankly, if your community turns down a data center, they're on crack.
yeah.
Columbia did. They're on crack.
Yeah.
These should be right. It is going to be a huge thing
We're gonna
for
ask
revenue and growth of communities.
That there's controversy around that, whether or not these data centers are necessarily
right over in Montgomery County.
Yeah. Well, what about the electricity demands in some areas of the country? What about the water demands to cool those centers? And who pays for that infrastructure? Do we, the people, do that? Do the big tech, rich boys pay for that? Who pays for it? So those are the kind of questions we're going to be asking. When we come back, you like your coffee, Peter?
Yeah.
I have good news for you on
Good.
Make Missouri Healthy Again.
I had a couple of cups of Caldi's coffee this morning. I'm like a new man.
It is the best. It is the best. Back in a minute with Make Missouri Healthy Again.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
like your coffee. And if you're Candace Owens, I really want you to listen up to this Make Missouri Healthy Again.
Man, she talk about somebody who needs little cuckoo pills.
Yeah. It's really sad because a lot of people, she is now alleging essentially that everyone in Charlie Kirk's orbit was somehow in on a grand conspiracy to murder him, right? I mean, that's where she's coming out now.
You know, I have a buddy of mine who has been in her orbit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably about 2 years ago. I was asking because she said something crazy. And he said that she got to a point where she's basically surrounded by a posse of enablers.
Oh, boy.
And
it's like a cult.
Well, no, the problem is with anybody who becomes quote unquote a celebrity,
they won't call her out.
Is that they're scared of saying no, and the problem is we all need people in our lives who tell us no.
Yeah,
you know, it's a stupid idea, Peter. That's a stupid idea, Randy.
Wait a minute, Drake, John. Which way does the no usually come from in this organization?
From Steph.
Come on, don't we all know it, Peter?
Yes.
When we get the question mark. No. So listen, this is an important thing. So this was a Norwegian study of people with psychosis and severe depression. But they used this group and they looked at their coffee intake. And it turns out that they found out that people that were drinking 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day actually had a better outcome and were likely to do better than if they drunk less. And what they found was their telomeres. So these are the little end caps on their chromosomes. Think of them as the plastic part on your shoelaces. That's what a telomere is like. And over our lifespan, those get shorter and shorter. And they're sort of a measure of biologic age. But they found that notable differences among the 4 coffee intake group. And it turns out that compared with the participants who drank no coffee, the 3 to 4 cup, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
3 to 4 cups a day had longer telomeres, which would impart generally better biological age. They found that they did better. And they found that this was associated with sort of a better likelihood of less progression of their severe mental illness. So what I'm saying is the antioxidant properties of coffee, we know about that.
Yes.
The anti-inflammatory properties of coffee, we know about that. This is generally, in a weird way, sort of a backdoor way, looking at an interesting group of people and correlating it with cellular findings, right? I mean, the microscopic findings, finding out that, hey, some of that Caldi's coffee every morning is a good thing. Now, after 5 cups a day, 5 cups or more, they didn't find any of that.
Yeah.
So too much of a good thing may not be a good thing.
You know, it's and I was told coffee can help lose weight, and I dig into my coffee and do that, but I'm still shaped like a grape.
But the thing is, you know,
it's that darn coffee.
Weren't you in that California grapes thing? Weren't you in that movie, The California Raisins?
Yes.
Weren't you in
Oh man, yeah. I was. They didn't even have to give me an outfit. I just naturally just fell into it.
So this is an interesting thing, and it turns out that drinking 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day may help slow the biological aging process. Now, this was in people with mental illness, but I think it's probably fairly extendable to all of us. I mean, I think that's a reasonable thing. Now, on the other hand, if you have high blood pressure, if you have a cardiac arrhythmia, especially, among other things, you should talk to your doc before you really
So just
delve
do
into
an
some
energy
cooking.
drink.
Oh, God help us. I don't know. Energy drink. Look at there goes producer Drake. If you're watching us on our Wake Up Missouri YouTube channel, he's just brandishing his. What is it today, Drake? What energy drink is it?
It's Red Bull. I've acquired a taste for it. I like it more than Monster now.
Hey, if Steph was here, she'd be guzzling her liquid death, so it's all good.
Or Celsius or whatever she drinks.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's coffee and Celsius and Liquid Death.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the latest on the J6 pipe bomber. What more do we know? And why did Mike Kehoe have a meeting with some public safety people in Moon Choi, but not local officials in Columbia? We'll talk.
of lines of information and cell phone dumps to triangulate not just who it was and the location, but we were able to use our tools and build evidence that's usable in a court of law.
That was Kash Patel recounting the millions of different data points that the FBI and the DOJ put together that were already there. They were in the vault. They had to sweep the dust off of them. Biden's DOJ had looked the other way while they were busy prosecuting Donald Trump.
And prosecuting, trespassers.
Yes.
The January 6th, most of the people.
Gray-haired ladies.
That walked into the Capitol when the door was open and they didn't do any damage. They didn't hurt anything. But Merrick Garland, that mutant, went after those good people.
That's Peter Thiel. He's in for Stephanie Bell. I'm Randy Tobler. John Marsh, of course, always alongside with Drake Whitman. And I think this is really a great example of properly directed resources, right? You want your government to be able to protect you, to ensure the public safety, and thank God these bombs didn't go off, but apparently they were capable, Peter. I mean, for some reason, we don't know whether he intentionally didn't want them to go off and just be a scare, or if it was a boo-boo, Thank God.
Here's the deal. Anybody who comes out and sets out pipe bombs, you have to say that that is for...
They're serious.
Yeah, that's, and at the bare minimum is terroristic threats.
Yep.
But anybody who puts out pipe bombs, they shouldn't be on the street. They just shouldn't be.
Here's a little more.
Generally speaking, and not stylizing the evidence in this case, you got to go out and buy pipes. You got to go out and buy end caps. You got to go out and buy sulfur. You got to go out and buy wires. Then you got to figure out how to put that all together successfully.
And thank God he didn't figure out how to do that successfully.
John? Yeah, the ATF, though, takes that real seriously. They don't tend to see the humor in it.
So, John, Peter, Drake, wake up, family, quiz me this. How many times have we heard stories of young men, this guy's 30 years old, but basically that late teens, usually early to mid-20s, this is a little older, but still, basically a young guy, living in their parents' home.
Yes.
Either collecting guns, material, building bombs. Am I blind, or are these parents just sort of like oblivious to what the hell's going on in their home? I don't understand.
Okay, I'm going to give a hot take.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if you're dealing with somebody who has had a failure to launch, there's something not quite right.
But shouldn't you be even more circumspect and keep a bigger eye on a kid like this?
I was dating a gal for a while, and she had younger brothers who were still living at home, the younger brothers being in their late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And mom was still cutting their meat up at dinner.
No,
totally true.
Come on, you jest.
No, I'm not jesting at all.
Oh, man.
And this is a gal that I saw for a while, and
you wonder why there's a failure to launch. Huh?
Yeah, and I just sat there and I said, "Have you talked to your mom about it?" and she goes, "Yes." And mom just goes, "It's no bother to me. I love doing it." And it's like, and you've heard the story about the monkey people?
No.
There are people who keep monkeys as pets.
Yes.
And the monkey people, there are folks who, generally women, but who put the monkeys in, the diapers and feed them.
Surrogate children.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I had the in-law at the family reunion with the monkey that we would put the toddlers up to terrorizing. But yeah.
Yeah, it's...
you wonder... Well, go back to Columbine, right? How do these kids get the guns? Sandy Hook. If parents know that a child is troubled, wouldn't you be keeping an eye on that kid like just glued to
the Columbine parents? My impression of this, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't want
those were these people came from dual income, high-powered professional parents who probably weren't looking after their kid very closely. Sandy Hook was a different deal where you were dealing with a divorce situation where one parent was being real permissive with their child and the child crashed and burned.
Yeah, you're right.
And
it amounts to a degree of really negligence, right? I mean, almost in a legal sense, right?
Correct.
I'm sure that's rarely
the job
prosecuted.
of parents. I'm going to do some mansplaining. The job of parents is to create adults and independent adults that are out making their decisions, making their mistakes, and not being there to hold their hands. And if so, some people have a child that has some sort of an issue, that's a different ball of wax.
Story. You're talking about competent children. Right?
Yeah, I'm talking about competent children.
They have the basic resources there. Okay.
Yeah, you can't enable them. You have to kick them out of the house, go do it, or if they're still living at home, you're paying rent.
Yeah?
Drake, what about you?
What about me?
You want to weigh in on this, Drake?
I mean, what do you want me to offer up? I mean, it's a terrible thing, but there's some weirdos. I also think there's some normal people that need a break, and they can stay at their parents for, I'd say, less than a year, and then go back out into the world.
Well,
get fired.
For somebody like you, it's a little bit different thing because you've been going to school, you've been doing that.
Right.
That's a whole different ball
you're
of wax.
working. That's a different story.
Yeah, it's. I'm just talking about. Okay, they finished school, they're entering the workforce. I loved my parents. They were great people, and I was able to go out, and I wanted to be on my own. I wanted to do that, and that's how it should be. And when parents have a kid who wants to be a perpetual 12-year-old, at some point the parents have to go, yeah, see ya.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
And I guess the drive for that, I want to be out and be independent, what's driving that is probably the critical issue here, right? Do you want to be independent and get out because you can't stand it at home, you hate your parents because they are trying to be good parents and you're just a rebel? Or is it because you're developing confidence, you're developing some self-realization, a skill set? That's what my parents and my wife's parents did for us.
Did you boot your kids out of the house?
They equipped us, right?
When your kids were done with school and went to college, done with that, they were still living at home, did you push them out of the house?
Interesting story. Sean, our oldest, graduated from Mizzou.
Yeah.
Right in the heart. I mean, right in the heart, in the middle of the recession. You couldn't land a job if you were the
That's a different
president.
ball of wax.
And you know what? He was at home for a while. But we found him beginning to want to, and he'll tell you this, beginning to sort of tack towards that, playing video games with his buddies from Germany across the seas.
Yeah.
And finally, my wife, because I was working all the time, finally my wife had to come to Jesus and said, it's time for you to get a job and get out of here. And he did. And, of course, I backed that up. But he's thankful for that now, right? And we connected him with some people and got him networking and so forth. And guess what? The kids,
he's done fine.
Yeah,
But even if they get out of the house and they stumble, they make a couple of mistakes, that's part of learning how to be an adult. Is that you go out and all of a sudden you don't plan your budget well.
Yep.
All right, it's what are you eating? Pick up a package of granola. Do a handful of granola a few times a day.
Lots of ramen. Lots of ramen floating around.
Ramen good.
Ramen good.
I think the main reason why some of us kids want to move out of the house, and this is the only reason for me, is for women. It's 100% for women. How are you going to bring a girl home from the bar? Are you going to bring them to your parents' house? No. I think that's the main reason why people want to get out of the house.
Okay, so it's all about sex.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there's Drake.
Glad I could clear that up for you guys.
Yeah, you ate that one, right? Okay. Is that the right word?
You ate with that is what you would say.
With that?
You ate with that. Yeah.
You ate with that. Okay. So Jordan Peterson, the psychologist who wrote the book Rules for Life.
Yep.
His rule number 11 was do not bother children when they're skateboarding. And what that really means, it's sort of a metaphor for letting them build confidence, courage, and navigating dangers. Let them break a leg. Let them, stub a toe. Just protect them from killing themselves, from doing anything stupid, right, that'll hurt themselves. And that's really one of the challenges I think parents have it's much more challenging now, I know, than when we were raising our kids when they were young. They're just, the threats aren't there. The digital world wasn't so accessible. In fact, it didn't really exist it was just getting started in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s.
They turned me loose on my skateboard, and I have the scars to this day to prove it.
But you don't really learn until you make mistakes, and you're allowed to make
Correct.
mistakes. Right?
Everything I've learned has been through mistakes. I've made a ton of them. And you can go and you can read the books and you can do all the stuff, and that's great, and you should. But you're going to make mistakes in life, and you have to figure out how to lift yourself up after it.
Yep. So Angela texts us, says, I had no privacy. My parents snooped. My mom saw some talk show where a mom talked about their kid getting into drugs and how parents needed to snoop and forget about privacy. Today, it's about being a friend more than a parent. And I think a lot of parents do want to be their kids' friends rather than the parents.
Yeah. That's you can't be your kid's buddy.
No.
It doesn't end well for the child.
No, you're so
and
right.
for the adult.
No, that's right. And I think there's regret that happens then when you don't really sort of live by those rules.
And you become friends when the child becomes an adult on their own.
Yeah, we're sort of having a lot of fun that way now. It's fun to hang out with your adult children. And
have your kids done what I did? Because I know you were a perfect child. Did your children confess to you how they've, all the shenanigans they were up to?
Helene and I were the most compliant first children ever. If authority spoke, we did not want to get in trouble. We did not want to be. The worst thing could happen is if mom or dad said we were disappointed in you. And our kids, oh my gosh, the things that they were up to that we had no clue.
Good for them.
And they're very well adjusted.
And they're doing great. They're doing great. I know. Love those kids. They're just the best. When we come back, I have a Burchett moment and I have a John Kennedy moment for you. That coming up. Want to remind you that the Artificial Intelligence Town Hall at the world headquarters of Zimmer Communications happens next Wednesday. That's December 10th from 6 to 7. We'd like to see you there. Doors will open at 5:30. Peter's bringing cookies? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to bring cookies.
Cookies?
Good ones. I'm going to have
And,
chocolate chip. I'm going to have the oats with the raisins in them.
Woo.
And none of those bougie raisins.
No snooker.
Yeah,
No bougie.
your normal God-given raisin.
And Senate President Pro Tem of the Missouri Senate, Cindy O'Loughlin, will be there, one of the panelists, along with Tim, Murkowski, is that his name?
It's yes,
the AI czar for the state of Missouri, to talk about all of the different facets of that very bright and shiny diamond.
Well, the AI revolution is here,
but some diamonds have flaws in them, So
it's
gonna
called
take a close
humanity.
look. Yeah, right.
It's
but when humanity creates an autonomous thinking and controlling and influencing entity, there could be a problem, and that's what we're going to talk about, right?
Yep.
So that'll be fun, and no registration needed, right? Just come on down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Standing room only. We'd love that.
Great. That's on Lamone Industrial Boulevard, basically
In
63
Columbia.
and Broadway in Columbia. And Grindstone, sorry. 63 and Grindstone in Columbia. All right, now, we want to highlight, Tim Burchett has really been catching my attention. This guy is posting regularly with these very sort of poorly produced, but I think effective, like, I call it the dadgummit reels that he makes. Dadgummit. Tim Burchett. He's talking about he wants to be, now that Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning, he wants to be chair of the DOJ subcommittee in Congress. And here's what he said the other day.
I have officially put my name in to chair the DOJ committee. Marjorie is leaving Congress, and that'll leave the committee wide open. I sure would love an opportunity. And I know cards are stacked against me. I don't do a lot to endear myself to the leadership, but frankly, they don't do a lot to endear themselves to me. So, and y'all know how this game works. You got to raise a lot of money and kiss a lot of butt. I don't do a good job at either one of those. So, but anyway, I sure would like an opportunity to do that. I think I got the backbone and I guess the guts to go after this spending, and I think I know where a lot of it's hidden. And honestly, I propose some dadgum legislation to do it, and I would get with folks like y'all out there on and social media, put some pressure on some of these gutless legislators to pass some of this stuff.
So there's a guy who you're feeling the frustration. We talked a little bit yesterday about how many people, and the Republicans are just jumping off that ship of legislation like flies and aren't going to face re-election. It happens often when a party is facing midterms and things don't look good. But this guy is like, he's been critical of Republicans. He said, stand in and fight. On another note, John Kennedy was talking with Sean Hannity the other night. He had some fun.
The last few days, Sean, have been surreal. I mean, honestly. Many of my Democratic colleagues, some Republicans, they've been acting like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I mean, they're just hysterical. They've clearly exceeded the limits of their meds. They're running around. They call the president a warmonger. They call the secretary of war a war criminal. They're speaking directly to our folks in the military, telling them to disobey orders.
So they've gone beyond the limits of their meds.
Yeah, well, you see, and some people really, really need to be on some meds.
Yeah.
And good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, zonk them.
Heather Elverstreet doesn't need to be on meds. She'll be joining us at 7:35 about Keogh and his meeting with Moon Choi. What was that all about?
I think just local news.
Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri. We talk with Heather Overstreet about a lot of stuff going on in your area, your neighborhood, our neighborhood, the world's neighborhood. How you doing, Heather?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm listening to all of this and watching this online chatter, and I saw one of your recent reels. I think you posted. When did you post it? Yesterday or day before? About Governor Keogh's meeting with Moon Choi, but leaving out Barbara Buffalo and Chief Jill Schluty and Sheriff Wayne Carey, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's your assessment of that? What are you speculating? How did that come down?
Oh, you mean just all the different topics and stuff? Yeah, it just really interests me. Like, I try to just cover what I think is interesting, what I think people should know about, and yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah. You're correct about that.
All right, so let's talk about your beef with Columbia and the LGBTQ safe haven. Tell us about that and what's wrong with it.
Yeah, well, when you make it a safe haven for one group of people, obviously it excludes the others. And they have an ordinance declaring that Columbia is an LGBT safe haven that they passed last year. And if you go through and read the ordinance, it's not as even innocent, doesn't sound innocent, but some people would think it sounds innocent. You go to read it, they have little sections in there. Like, for example, if you're a male, a biological male, and you walk into a women's bathroom, their ordinance states that it is either they won't prosecute it or it's on the lowest priority. Mm-hmm. And that's just one example. They also talk about youth on that ordinance. They also talk about not helping our other government entities, like other states and stuff, investigate trans and youth. And I mean, it's wild.
It's Heather Overstreet on Wake Up Missouri. Heather, dealing with this whole deal about the bathroom wars, why do you think that liberals are so hung up on allowing men to walk into the ladies' room?
The short answer is a very small group of people know what they're actually doing, and they're predators. And I think everything else is just facilitated by people that believe the costume. Like, it's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. It really is. And I think people try to overcomplicate it, and they're like, oh, it's like Illuminati, or it's like all these conspiracy theories. And it's like, it's just some dude that's perverted, really.
Let me ask you, Heather, about you referred to on a recent Instagram about the drama queen in Columbia, the council member, the drama queen. Who is said drama queen? You want to name names?
Yeah, I don't care. Her name, I think I did, is the thing. Her name is Jackie Samples. She's Como Ward 3 or something like that. Uh-huh. And if you recall back, the whole reason I call her a drama queen is because the president of Mizzou, Mun Choi, whenever that poor girl got shot and killed as a bystander, Stevens College student, Mun Choi was all over that, and he was trying to come up with solutions, and he was emailing them and asking them to go on like an anti-violence walk downtown and get a bunch of other leaders together. And Jackie, among two of the other woke council members of Columbia, rejected Mun Choi. They rejected him. They're like, nope, we're not going to do that. And then later, of course, the mayor, including everybody else, is like, well, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, because that works so good.
Next week. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I call her a drama queen because when Mun Choi met with the governor, she made a stupid, goofy post. She's like, oh, my gosh, they didn't include me. And I'm like, yeah, you literally rejected him, crazy lady.
It's Heather Overstreet on Wake Up Missouri. Heather, I on this idea of economic development in the city of Columbia, obviously the city just turned down a data center, which would have been really advantageous for a city that it looks like revenue will be going down from year to year. What's your take on that?
I don't have like a specific opinion on that example per se, but what I do understand about Columbia economically is that it's actually relatively a booming town that has lots to offer, and they actually make profit and not like for example, like Kansas City's in debt. To my understanding, Columbia isn't that way. the issue that I see is the woke agenda. Like their budgeting now, like their DEI, their whatever weird LGBT they got going on over there. That's how you're going to get into debt. And then that's where you're really going to see an issue. And that's where, like, if an opportunity does come up and you turn it down, you're spending too much money and you're turning down more. Like, it's heading not in a good direction economically.
Well, as a businesswoman, you might know a little bit about that with your dog business, right? Your dog boarding business. About,
yeah, absolutely.
Revenues and expenses need to work out with a little black ink, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Heather Overstreet. She joins us on Wake Up Missouri.
Heather, you and Drake are on the bottom end of our demographic, with our Wake Up family and all. As far as it goes for you personally, what's the number one political issue you think's facing the younger folks out there right now?
Definitely the LGBT. For the most part, it's a civil issue, and it wouldn't be so bad if it stayed that way. Where I have the biggest issues when the LGBT starts entering legislation, like this ordinance. You see it on a local level. Boonville has problems with it, too. Probably almost every county has it. It's people that just have sexual perversions, truthfully. And, I hate to be the bearer of truth on that, but they have these sexual perversions and they get on the internet and they find more of each other. Okay? And so it happens in every county. It happens in Howard County, happens in Cooper County, Boone, all of them, whole state. I think that's the biggest issue we face today, because it's one of those things people don't want to talk about. They're like, oh, it's fine. What I do in my bed doesn't matter. And it's like, you're correct, so why don't you leave it there?
Well, okay, so let's then connect that opinion with the upcoming vote on Amendment 3, the new Amendment 3, to replace the old Amendment 3, which essentially prohibits, I think the approved ballot language is something about prohibits sex change operations on kids. What do you say about that? Does the government have a say in that?
Well, the purpose of the government, yes, the answer is yes. But the purpose of the government is to protect and serve. A grown person can consent to do that, but a child cannot. A child can't even get a tattoo. So, a child can't smoke a cigarette, none of that stuff. So something that's permanent to your body. And there's some people want to talk about this too. There's so many detransitioned people as adults. Like, it's not okay for kids. Like, we're not talking about kids. That's why when you asked me specifically, Heather, as a young person, yeah, the LGBT is the most dangerous because it's preying on the weak, the women and the children.
Yeah.
But yeah, children cannot protect themselves. I mean, that's why, like, the foster care system is a prime example of that as well.
Yeah, so the ballot language, as far as I can tell, that Judge Green finally approved, but it's under appeal, is prohibits sex change procedures for children, and in the text of the proposed amendment, it's for under 18, and it includes hormones as well as surgical procedures. Yeah. So it is. I mean, it's listed as a mental illness, right? As for a kid when they have gender dysphoria. So why do we immediately operate? We don't give kids a frontal lobotomy or put them in shock therapy if they're depressed, right? We give them counseling and sometimes meds.
Exactly. I mean, and that's why I say, like, the behavior of this quote unquote community is just so predatory. Like, they're preying off of your compassion. You're a bad parent if you don't affirm your child's mental issues. It's like, it's not true. You got to stop believing in the lie.
Now, I understand that Springfield is trying to gaslight you, you think, about something you wrote or said, or what? Tell us about that.
Springfield's got, like, a wild LGBT community, and I knew that because when I was driving around, it was rainbow over there. But a lot of the comments are trying to tell me, because, Springfield's DEI, the city gives a lot of money to their DEI. So that's your taxpayer dollars. $300,000 of it is going to specifically DEI, which is, obviously stupid. But as soon as I posted that video, just sharing what I found, because I had the sunshine law request that a person can't just look it up. As soon as I posted the video, there's people in the comments like, oh, $300,000 is that much? I'm like, dude, that is way more money than I make. Like, what do you mean? Like, I would love, if you think that, then maybe like you should help me out over here.
Yeah, give us some cash here. Heather Overstreet on Wake Up Missouri. Do you think that we need to get to the point where somebody who is demanding their 6-year-old get a sex change operation, that these people are essentially committing a crime of child abuse?
Yeah, I would be open to that. Absolutely. And here's why. Fun fact, it's actually one of my dreams someday to adopt, like have a family where I have like adopted kids. And I just think it's a beautiful thing. But some of these like organizations that like help you adopt through the state, you take different classes and stuff, and they're trying to teach you how to like be a parent of an adopted child. A lot of them don't let you if you yourself are trans, and it's valid. It's like there's a trans YouTuber that I watch that's conservative, and I quite like this person, and this person understands that he's a biological male, and he doesn't try to argue with people about that, and he doesn't want kids, and it's like he understands, like he knows what's going on, even though he has that, this whole idea of, oh, I'm trans and I'm normal. It's like, well, you're still a person and God still loves you, but you're not normal. So we can get that out of the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, the state could, I think, most definitely get involved with all that, and maybe those kids would be better off if the state took guardianship. I don't know.
All right, now Heather, we're not gonna ask about your personal reproductive choices, okay? But if you were going to have a child, and if you were going to have a child between now and the end of 2028, would you be thrilled that Trump and folks are going to dump $1,000 of tax money into a 401k for said child?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I got my own 401k covered. I always get nervous when people start throwing around free money. Never free.
All righty. Hey, thanks for being with us. Look forward to the next convo.
Likewise.
All right, take care. There she is, Heather Overstreet. John, what's coming up with your next convo?
The question is, Dad's cut the cheese or Mom's Dutch oven?
Is it Camembert or Limburger?
Stay tuned.
Oh, can't wait.
It's Wake
all. Except for this.
Well, the battle of the sexes just got stinkier. On average, humans fart up to 23 times a day, but not all of those tools are created equal. Toots, that should read. Research shows that women's gas smell, it could be tools. Women's gas smells worse than men's, and there's a scientific reason why, doctor. That stink could be a sign that she's less likely to develop Alzheimer's. Dr. Michael Levitt is a gastroenterologist known as the king of farts, sent to figure out why the gases give flatulence its signature funk. The participants chowed down on pinto beans and took a laxative, and they put it to the sniff test, and they said, well, men tended to pass larger volumes of gas. They found that the female flatulence was significantly stinky and had more hydrogen sulfide in it.
Cabbage?
Yep, there you go. With a greater odor intensity, as they said.
Okay. Hard-boiled eggs?
That's it. Women might actually want to embrace their smellier parts because the hydrogen sulfide may protect your aging brain cells against Alzheimer's.
Peter, it's a microbiome thing. I'm telling you.
It's trust me, I'm the world's largest source of natural gas.
Yeah.
You're very lucky this morning. I think I ate very well last night.
Well, we attend the meetings that you call for us.
Yeah.
So the stinky scent may be your, maybe your secret brain booster,
Talking about hot
ladies.
air here.
Yes.
So this guy, this gastroenterologist, claims there is a scientific reason, and that this may be a sign or a symptom of protection against Alzheimer's disease.
That's right. With hydrogen sulfide gas in very small doses could protect the aging brain cells.
That's good news.
That is.
Checks out.
Ladies and their SBDs, keep them coming, I guess.
It checks out. I mean, every woman I've talked to, they always remember every little thing and bring up the past in every way that
they're
they
historians.
Oh, they have memories. But here's the problem with this theory, John. Women are more at risk for Alzheimer's than men. They make up about 2/3 of the cases. So how does this doesn't square with that good doctor?
Well, maybe they're suppressing we don't call it a microbiome.
Maybe they need to eat more sauerkraut, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. And
pinto beans like these folks in the test.
I like the German-style red cabbage.
Oh. There you go. Rotkraut.
Yes. It's give me some of that. That's
Grandma
good.
made that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff all the way around.
Oh, man. Well, we're descending into gosh knows where we're going to go on the show.
I didn't start this either.
Today.
I want to just say this. I didn't start it.
No, you didn't.
Guilty as charged.
I know it's shocking. I didn't start it. I didn't get that look from Randy. Randy will look over at me when I'm here, and he'll go. He'll sort of be a blank look up on his face. His countenance will be.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
You do realize if Stephanie was here, she would be accusing us all of sounding like a pack of 14-year-old boys.
Yes, true.
Okay, well, every man is basically 14 throughout their lives, so it is what it is.
Yeah, we're all boys in men's bodies, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what it is. It is true. 573-874-9390. If you guys want to comment on the biological differences in terms of gastrointestinal function or others, that'd be fine. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And guys, don't worry, your secret is safe with us. We won't give the name.
And if you're a gastroenterologist at the university, feel free to weigh in.
Evan says, I'll do cabbage and Southeast Asian noodle soup. Woo! All right, when we come back, Jessica Rosenthal, Fox correspondent, joins us. What's all the trashing and the dissing of police and National Guard and ICE? Let's mix it up with her in a few. Stay tuned. Welcome into the third hour of the Feel Good Friday edition of Wake Up Missouri. Hope that you all survived the Arctic blast from last night. I'm not sure that the people in New Orleans feel as though they're going to be able to survive, at least some of the people that stormed the town hall last night to talk about ICE cleaning up their city. We'll talk to Jessica Rosenthal now, Fox News correspondent and host of the podcast Roundup, which is a great one, by the way. Jessica, thanks for being with us on this beautiful Feel Good Friday.
Thanks for having me.
I'm not sure that law enforcement people at local levels, national levels, military levels, I mean, anyone that really is in public safety or national safety is feeling really good about the way the media and especially progressives on the left are talking about them. It's a tough time out there, isn't it, for them?
Yeah, we paid attention this week to a House Homeland Security Committee hearing called When Badges Become Targets, and it was about violent rhetoric aimed at law enforcement. As you might imagine, this turned into a story about police recruitment pretty quickly because the witnesses, most of them heads of national law enforcement organizations, said recruitment's really suffering, they believe, because of the attitude toward law enforcement, which is interesting in the backdrop of military recruitment really soaring. But it was the National Sheriff's Association director who told Congress members to their faces, please stop calling ICE and law enforcement agencies Nazis and Gestapo. The head of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association said the danger officers are facing right now is unprecedented. He's never seen a threat landscape like this in his career for law enforcement. As you might imagine, the Democrats during the hearing were very focused on ICE. They said ICE has gone too far, that they need to be reined in. They also pointed to January 6th and said Republicans actually also have a hatred toward law enforcement issue themselves. But it was one of the final members of Congress at this hearing to ask questions that caught our attention for the podcast, and that was Colorado Republican Gabe Evans. He had a unique perspective because he was a cop for 10 years in Colorado before becoming a Congress member. And he said a lot of things, including that he's buried friends, including Officer Gordon Beasley in 2021. The suspect in that shooting had a deep hatred of police that had gone on for years. So he said the story hit home for him, personally. But he also testified, and he told us during our interview with him about officers leaving the force. He said in Colorado he really saw it after the George Floyd protests, after COVID, the initial early days of COVID, when new laws, new restrictions, new liabilities for officers became part of what they had to deal with every day. And those new rules placed on them by people who've never been in law enforcement before, including, he said, and I'll end with this here, a new statute in Colorado that's now been in effect for a few years that said if your body camera was not on when it should have been, that can be used and should be used to infer and assume misconduct on the part of the officer. Oh. And he said that absolutely tanked morale because it meant that the burden was on the officer to prove that he wasn't the bad guy when dealing with a bad guy. And so just to wrap it up there on sort of what we learned this week in sort of covering this issue was morale for a lot of officers is really down. And Congressman Evans told us one of the biggest, he pointed to one study in particular that said one of the biggest predictors of officer PTSD after an incident was not support from the wife or the kids. It was support from your mayor, your chief, your city council. If you don't feel that you have backing when you're dealing with a tense situation, that was the number one predictor, he said, of officer PTSD.
It sounds like maybe you've been a fly on the wall, Jessica Rosenthal, radio correspondent at Fox News and Rundown podcast host. You've been a fly on the wall of some of the discussions that we've had on air and off with police officers in the city of Columbia, Missouri. They feel as though they're not supported by the officials. There's a lot of lip service given, but the minute there's an alleged, cop abuse incident, well, things change. And so very, very interesting. This is not just a local issue. It seems to be a national problem. That is Jessica Rosenthal, Rundown podcast host at Fox News and radio correspondent for them. She joins us on Wake Up Missouri this morning.
Jessica, it's one of the things that's been brought up, is especially with our ICE officers going out and doxing them. and it's if you look at crime, especially in third world countries, police officers in Mexico always have their heads covered because of there have been officers who were exposed when they got home, their family members were murdered. The type of safety to protect these people who are just doing their jobs has to be so important. Are they dealing with a group of people who want to dox our cops?
Yeah, that's tough, right? That's a whole nother issue in and of itself, to go after the people who are putting that information out there and online and threatening our law enforcement. Yeah, there is an effort to find out more about but legally, when you cross the line, I haven't been paying attention to whether or not anybody's been actually prosecuted for doxing officers' information. I will say there has been an FBI memo that was released telling ICE they should probably go ahead and identify themselves, that people are starting to impersonate them and wear plain clothes, claim to be ICE, and rob and assault people. So it's a tough line to walk. Your point is very well taken, though, because ICE is dealing not just with U.S. citizens, right? They're primarily dealing with people who are not from here, who, if they are identified, it really does create a problem because we do have cartel networks in this country right now as we speak. So that's a point very well taken. And I will just share with you, in 2009, I went to Tijuana and northern Mexico across the California border to cover some of the cartel violence. And I took some pictures of federal law enforcement in Mexico. They were holding guns in the back of trucks. They had their faces covered. And I was in a vehicle when I took their picture. I was chased down, and my vehicle I was in was stopped. And the federal law enforcement, the federales, took my camera and deleted the pictures on my digital camera at that time.
Whoa!
Because they had seen me. Because they had seen me flash a picture and take a picture of them. Their faces were covered, and they still demanded, and they physically took my camera and deleted my photos. So you're right. It's a very, very real issue. It's I don't know. I don't have the right answers as to how to move forward with that, as to, not masking your face and not covering your face in the United States. But it's a fine line to walk. And when you start seeing people impersonate ICE officers to harm people, to harm citizens, it's a tough issue to grapple with.
Fox News has a story up this morning that says Ilhan Omar says there are a few undocumented Somali migrants in the country, primarily meaning the Twin Cities. Your take on that?
I don't have the data on the number of Somali migrants who might be undocumented. That's a different case, right? Usually when we think of undocumented people, we think of Northern Triangle and Mexico. But of course, during the Biden administration, we learned that millions of people came from all over the world. So I don't have strong numbers on that. I do know DHS has been focused on finding, because of that fraud story that we heard about over the past couple of weeks, that really is a years-long story. DHS and others in the federal government are currently examining visa fraud and other types of immigration-related fraud within the Somali migrant community in Minnesota. So we'll be paying attention to that to see if there's any sort of prosecution or further court action to allege that people in the Somali migrant community in that area are here. Maybe they're not undocumented, but maybe their documents aren't legit. So that will be something we'll be following.
In the midst of the political environment that was around that summer of the George Floyd incident, and then, what followed, that Minneapolis police officer, Derek Chauvin, was sentenced to a 22.5-year sentence. It's now being reported that he's looking for a new trial. I've looked at a documentary, and I don't remember the specific name of it, Jessica, but that really looks at a different camera angle of the way he was restraining George Floyd. And some of the, as Derek Chauvin is now claiming, that some of the reporting on the training that they did or didn't receive was actually faultily admitted into court. I wonder if we're going to see a new light in the new light of now a post BLM, summer of 21 atmosphere. Maybe Derek Chauvin might get a different look if he gets a new trial. Any thoughts?
I don't know about that yet. I mean, if that's successful, that's something obviously we would absolutely be paying attention to. I mean, he wasn't just convicted on criminal charges, but also federal civil rights violation charges. So that would beg the question of possibly a new federal trial to reexamine different motivations and intents there. But we know that because of that, some of the laws passed around the country in response to the George Floyd situation prompted police departments around the country to initiate a new rule that said that there's an officer duty to intervene, that there's a duty of other officers who are witnesses to report what they see. So if there's a new camera angle or there's some new evidence that points to something different here, I don't know if we've seen that yet, and how what the admissibility is of any sort of new evidence. But you're right. I mean, I know Chauvin has requested a new trial. I don't know how successful. I don't know how successful that will be. If it's successful, we'll follow it.
I think it just relates to what we were talking about, what you said at the top. It's sort of if you talk to officers, they feel as though they are essentially guilty until proven innocent. And how ironic is that, and how preposterous is that in a system that is supposed to protect people in terms of their innocence until proven guilty? And the very people that are at the heart of law enforcement, it's sort of a different atmosphere. And I don't think that's just law enforcement officers whining. I think it's the truth. I think common sense, level-headed Americans know that.
Well, and your point about training is important. When officers say, hey, this is what we're told to do, and that's Derek Chauvin's argument, is this is what we've been instructed to do, is to the knee tactic, as it's called, right? So if there's a tension between what you're telling me to do and then you're going to charge me for it,
doesn't work out well.
Right? Like, how do you navigate that?
Right.
Of course, if it results in death, then you've got a whole other situation on your hands, and that appears to be what happened here. At least that's what he was convicted of. So you're right, though, the officers are confused at the very least.
Yeah. And they're sure not entering law enforcement to make bank on it either, right? I mean, it's a passion, it's a calling. Hey, your reporting is always so spot on, and we appreciate you every day, and we appreciate you when you're with us here on Wake Up Missouri. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Good reporting, as always, from Jessica Rosenthal. Back with the morning market report in just a moment.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
It is your morning bell right here on Wake Up Missouri. Big note, by the way, Netflix is in the live TV business. They bought Warner Brothers Discovery, a $72 billion deal.
That sounded like Carl Sagan. Billion.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and it is.
And as we were talking, I thought Netflix was having some financial problems a couple years ago. They emerged from that?
I think they did. I think they were under a lot of bad contracts, and they had forked all that money over to Meghan Markle. I mean, talk about stupid. They were doing influencer investing instead of people that were bringing actual things. They were bringing an idea of potential instead of things that were bringing audience, and they've sort of changed that around. They went and hired the biggest show on YouTube. They brought it over to them in Kill Tony. Yeah. They've done a lot of different things. I think
they changed their billing arrangements, so everybody in the family now has to have a Netflix membership.
That's true. That's good. Yeah. And so that's a strong thing.
Yep.
Sam Altman of OpenAI is eyeing starting a rocket company to take on Elon Musk.
Oh, really?
Yep. Dow Jones futures are off just a little bit, 37 points. NASDAQ futures and S&P futures are both up very, very big. Here's what else is going on. A lot of this may be really past. AI may have more to do with this than anything else. U.S. layoffs. 1.1 million people have lost their jobs, the highest levels since the pandemic. And Dollar General is announcing 450 new U.S. stores in 2026.
Wow.
So, you'll be driving in the middle of nowhere, and there will be a Dollar General. I just did that drive. I went to Chicago for Thanksgiving, and I drove from that Columbia to Hannibal, through the small towns.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to you, in the middle of nowhere, there's a Dollar General.
Yeah.
I mean, in the middle of nowhere.
And they're getting into the grocery business more and more, too.
Yes.
Yep.
And for especially, that's really important for underserved communities, whether it be inner city or rural areas that don't have a grocery store really close to them. Dollar General's in there. I have seen their produce. It's not that good. But that's going on. A lot of stuff to watch in the market as we go through the next couple of weeks as we get towards the end of the year.
And there's some good news. We talked about ADP's payroll report yesterday and how small businesses was getting hammered and hammering their employees basically with a lot of unemployment there. Weekless jobless claims dropped 27,000. Continuing claims fell a little bit. So planned layoffs decreased in November. So it's not all bad news. There's some feel-good news on the job front. It's just, I think it's a changing landscape with AI.
Yeah, it's the revolution's here, baby, and it's changing the workplace.
Make sure you learn more about it at our town hall next Wednesday. Doors open at 5:30. Our AI town hall. Winners and losers coming up.
Has America been fair?
No, this is more about.
Well, it's that time when we ask for your nominations for winners and losers. Give us a call at 800-529-5572 if you have a stellar, all-time, never before heard of winner or loser. Or you can text us 573-874-9390. And we will proceed thereforth. John Marsh, your winner and loser.
Well, I've got a few winners, and I don't know. You call them losers, we call them winners. We'll see. We preface this story by saying, how about a college degree in smoothies? Stevens College, props to them for buying Columbia's organic restaurant Nourish Cafe to use as a hands-on lab for students working on business and other degrees. Here's the one, whether you can call it a loser or a winner. I think a lot of our libertarian mindset listeners would say 485 Missouri House pieces of legislation were pre-filed on Monday.
A record?
Yeah, I think
maybe
they broke the record. That was the first.
How many of them are? I'm guessing 99% of them are to essentially raise spending.
Stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
How about this? Here's a loser for you. A guy accused of making meth had a portable meth lab in his hand, a shake and bake bottle. Decided to take his portable meth lab into the IHOP in Jefferson City on Thanksgiving Day.
As you would.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
You know, shake and bake while having some pancakes, it's a win.
There you go. Think how fast he'd finish his meal, though. So.
Yeah. Pick me up. A lot of people on the holidays when they go to a restaurant because they don't have anyone around them. They're alone. And
make a little meth to go in a short stack of pancakes.
Instead of pouring Fireball in your coffee, you do that.
In all seriousness, they actually had to evacuate the IHOP and bring in the bomb squad on that. It was terrible. It was terrible. And the guy just, his mugshot was just, he didn't, I don't think he knew where he was.
No, meth will do that to you, I hear. Not that I would know by experience.
Friend of Peter's told him about that. Okay. Oh, that's Peter in for Stephanie. I'm Randy. There's John Marsh, along with Drake Whitman, and Brian Hauswirth joins us. Brian, your winners and losers.
It's good to be with you, and good job, Randy and Peter, hosting today. I've got 4 winners here in no particular order. Number 1, and Peter took a picture of me on our Facebook page, 93.9 The Eagle Facebook, but the Grinch meals were unveiled. One of our advertisers, McDonald's, dropped off some the new Grinch meals, and I got some Grinch socks I'm proudly wearing right now. Had a lot of fun with that. Peter remembers I took a picture of the Grinch down at the Christmas parade, so I had a lot of fun with that. Also, winners today, the plow crews that worked in mid-Missouri, and not to leave anybody else out because they did a fine job as well in southern Missouri, but fine job in Columbia. We had a really, really difficult storm that came in much 3 or 4 hours earlier than what was projected, and we had a couple hundred people stranded, but the crews did a fine job and did a good job. Worked all night, literally through Tuesday mornings, and the tow truck drivers as well, trying to rescue people. Very dangerous work. So congratulations to them, and we appreciate your work on that. Blair Oaks, Tipton, Nixa. Nixa is down in Springfield area. Blair Oaks, Tipton, and Mid-Missouri, all playing for state championships in high school football. All of them, we wish you the best of luck. They all play different teams, so all 3 theoretically could win. We hope they do. Nixa, by the way, which is south of Springfield, has Cantwell, who's one of the top players in the country. Kirby Smart. I mean, you wouldn't believe the coaches have been down to Nixa to see him, but he's decided to play at University of Miami. We'll see how they do. They are playing in St. Joseph this weekend. And
Blair Oaks could repeat, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. And John and Ted LePage has a kind of a dynasty there. And last but not least, Mizzou and Kansas renewing their rivalry in basketball. That's a huge deal, especially in mid-Missouri and really the Kansas City area as well. And I'll probably take a little heat from some of the Tiger fans, but I give kudos to Dennis Gates and to Bill Self. Yes, you heard me say it. Bill Self has to get credit for that as well. That's okay. He's a fine coach. 2 national championships, guys. He's 16 Big 12 titles. He's done a tough job, but you give him credit. I have to for renewing that rivalry, and I'm glad to see it. It'll be a great game.
All right, and no losers.
I have no losers this week. No.
Yeah, no.
How about Kansas's violations when they won one of those nationals? Are we going to talk about that at all?
Well, I'll let you refer.
Great coach, quote unquote.
I think if you look at his record, I mean, what he did at Oral Roberts, Illinois, and Kansas, there's no denying he's a fine coach. There's no doubt. Of course, you may disagree, Drake, but look at the record.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brian Hauswirth.
He didn't even mention Fog Allen, who they named the field after.
Hey, while we have you in the studio here, yes. we do need to take a little detour. Predictions on bowl announcements, both for Mizzou and for potentially postseason for the Bears?
The Bears have already been picked.
They've already been picked. Why don't we give the rest of the winners? I'll let the other, and then at the end, I'll give a quick update on that if that works.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
Peter, what do you have?
All right. Well, for me, it's always about hate. I hate people who do not know what they're doing when they drive on snow. Stay off the road. Yep. Wait for the roads to be plowed and treated before you get out there on the road. There's no shame in your game if you say, I don't really know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And your 4x4 truck or SUV may start quicker. It doesn't stop quicker, and just always remember that. Big winner this week, Kash Patel and the FBI for taking out the pipe bomb builder that just was going from there. It comes out that the guy was a little bit of an anarchist who is a professional bail bondsman. So if he gets bail, he knows somebody who can get him out real quick.
I think you're right. You got any losers?
Well, besides drivers, it's I think the other thing is losers not really understanding the economic development and potential of these data centers. I think anyone, when these come up, they should automatically be approved. It's great for the economic base, the tax base for a community. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's the not in my backyard people. I'm not a big fan of that. So bring that on. And I'm very excited about next week because it's going to be the artificial intelligence town hall. That'll be on Wednesday. You'll be able to hear on 93.9 The Eagle, but in in Springfield on Tuesday night, it's going to be the Not in My Backyard town hall.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be a real debate because it has become it's been an issue that is really clogging up Springfield's growth because it's creating sprawl. And you don't want sprawl. Sprawl ain't good for all.
Trader Joe's is an example, by the way.
That's why Columbia has Trader Joe's, because the people of the NIMBY people in Springfield chased them out.
Okay. That's right. I think you're right. And NIMBY is going to be that's always an interesting topic, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's windmills in Nantucket Bay, right? Or whether it's wherever. People always have a NIMBY problem, right? They want a water tower, but not in their backyard. They want a new widened road, but not in their backyard.
Correct.
Yeah. So, okay. Look, I think I have to commend Chief Jill Schluty of the Columbia Police Department. She came on with us on Tuesday, sick, and she did a stellar job and did a hit with us. That's coming to the call of duty, right? So good for her. And the other day, we had a package delivered. The FedEx guy drives up. This is after the snow had fallen, so we couldn't come down the driveway because he was afraid he'd, either hit something or have a problem. So he walked in, trudged in, and I met him halfway out, and I said, hey, thank you. I know it's tough sledding for you guys. He says, you're telling me, I'm from Miami. I have never seen snow before.
Wow.
But for all the delivery people, the postal workers, the law enforcement people, everyone who's working out in the cold, they just that's their job. They have to be in the cold. You guys are all winners. You're all winners. And so I just want to
And usually really good drivers on snow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I got a kick out of it. He says, I have never seen snow before. What a rude awakening. Here he is driving FedEx in mid-Missouri. So we want to give them, and we want to give a shout out to the people at VU. This will be the last year for their light display. So when does that start?
Starts on Wednesday. I'll have features on Monday, Tuesday about that. I was out there this week.
They've given us a lot of the area residents, and people come from miles over.
Yes,
I've had family visiting here from wherever, and we take the time to do that. So get out there and enjoy it this year. Thanks to you guys at VU. Appreciate it for all the good times since 21, I believe, right?
2020.
From 2020. Okay. All right, Drake.
All right, I got a couple winners and losers. I'm going to start off with one loser, then loop back around. Kirby Moore. I don't need to say anything else.
Oh man, you got a real vendetta against that guy, man.
Yeah, well, he's made us 8-4, so he deserves it. Some of our winners, we got DraftKings. I have spent so much money this past week. Sports gambling is here, and it is taking Missouri by storm.
You know, and that's why Drake will be the first call to the gambler hotline.
I might be. No, yesterday, I am a loser, not just because I lost a bunch of money, but I bet $250 on Lions money line last night.
Wow.
And it said payout of $138, and I thought that would be on top of the $250. Nope, I actually lost money, and I won the bet. So
I told you.
Yeah, you told me.
Stay off of that vice.
It's
not good for you. I told you.
It's a lot of fun. It makes me yell at the TV.
Keep away from the dispensary, out of the saloons, and away from the online betting. You'll be a successful man.
Yeah, and that's not happening. And
the odds favor the house, young Drake.
Favor the house. That's right. Well, and then, our last winner, Missouri State, they did it.
Yeah,
we talked so much about them going to the bowl, and they finally did it. And,
where are they going?
Xbox Bowl.
Yep.
Wow.
Didn't that
the great tradition that goes back, a couple of years, the Xbox Bowl, along with the Pop-Tart Bowl and the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah.
So where is the
Weed?
Xbox
Where's
Bowl?
the Weed Whacker Bowl this year?
The Xbox Bowl. Drake, do you have any more winners? Or
Nope, that's it.
Then I wanted to wait to give everybody else a chance to on the bowl because I'll mention Mizzou as well. But it is, in all seriousness, it's the Xbox Bowl. It's really interesting. And they're playing Arkansas State, which is a really good football team. This is an interesting
Red
game.
Wolves.
It's in Frisco, Texas. It's called Ford Center at the Star, and the stadium is really neat. It's a big deal. It'll be on ESPN2. It's an early game. It'll be on December the 18th, a Thursday at 8 o'clock Central Time. So good luck to them. That's a huge deal. Melanie Stinnett played a huge role in that.
Yeah,
and
she's been lobbying for that.
Yeah, Melanie did a fine job on that, representative in the Springfield area. Mizzou will learn its bowl destination on Sunday, and we have no idea. It's speculation right now, but they're going to go bowling, perhaps to the Mayo Bowl, Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Odds are on the Music City Bowl.
There's some that I think a better chance of the Mayo Bowl, but we'll find out.
Okay.
If you win the Mayo Bowl, they dump mayonnaise on you.
Yeah, Patricia says
a lot of mayonnaise.
Loser of the week is the Third Ward councilwoman whining about not being invited to the table with the governor. A winner, according to Lynn, is Sapp and Sons for winning the 4th I-70 expansion project. My
huge.
Ken says a winner is the FBI for busting the pipe bomber. My daughter says loser is all the women who have to now do the elf on the shelf thing till now. Okay, we'll be back with leftovers. Stay tuned.
It's Wake Up Miss.
to tell us what's on your plate. If you have any topics you'd like to bring up, give us a call, 800-529-5572, or text us at 573-874-9390. And while we wait for that, we will ask John, what's on your leftover plate?
Well, this is a winner that we didn't get on a winner of one, and that would be Cassidy Ray Lubring, the 18-year-old girl from St. Thomas and Blair Oaks High School who passed away over Thanksgiving, had a lot of health problems.
Really sad news because she was such a bright, shining star of every radiothon.
Just a big smile every time we had her on over the years. And I know the Blair Oaks football team, we have it on good authority, dedicating their state title game tomorrow to her.
That's going to be it's going to be a big game, state title game for Blair Oaks. They're perennial attendees at that event, right?
They would be repeat performers if they knock off St. Pius X from Festus.
We have to be careful saying too much about them. Scott Fawn will have a head so big they'll have to put new doors in. Won't be able to walk in from out of one.
Very good.
What do you have, Peter?
Well, I'm going to tell you a loser mainly because he's lying.
What?
George Clooney says he's never had an argument with his wife.
Yeah, he's lying.
He's lying. The other loser, because apparently she's easily malleable by Chinese spies, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. According to and they had problems dealing with and trying to manipulate, I'm an Italian guy, Andrew Cuomo, as he was busy, kissing,
getting friendly with his
and doing the old fashioned groping.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I think we should say Donald Trump's a winner, no matter if he was looking downward and gazing downward and getting accused of falling asleep in the meeting the other day. Scott Bessent was on with Sean Hannity, and they got talking about these allegations that doesn't have the same mojo he had, and he's running out of steam and this and that. Here's what he said.
Sean, he'll call me, Scott, I didn't wake you, did you? No, sir. I'm always awake at 1:52 on a Tuesday. And we did the trip to Alaska. We did a round trip one day, and we arrived back. The rest of the cabinet, Secretary Rubio, Secretary Lutnick, and I, our batteries are out. We land at Andrews, and the president's like, oh, it's morning in Europe now. I think we had spent probably 20 hours in the air in Alaska, and he said, let's start making phone calls and call the European leaders. So we had to sit on the tarmac for 2 more hours while he made phone calls. He never stops working for the American people.
I mean, the guy has just insatiable appetite to keep pushing on.
These people who are entrepreneurs like him, it's they're built a little bit different.
Yeah.
And we all know people who've built business after business after business. And I'm sure, Randy, folks who built a business, they sell it, and
on
then
they
go new deal, and they make it work. Those folks, thank you, every entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You guys kick butt, take names. I have so much. I really appreciate you.
Only in America. And we want to make sure that we keep that onward and upward through small business and innovation and entrepreneurship. What will AI mean for that? Mark it on your calendar next Wednesday in Columbia, the AI Town Hall, and Tuesday, NIMBY in Springfield Town Hall.
Yes.
Right? That time, same time?
That's 6 o'clock.
All right. Have a great weekend.